Hello everyone, this is Donna from Even the Scales. Thank you if you've clicked on my video today. I'm on my channel right now to talk about the abuse that I'm going through here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. I've just created a video and I've just posted it to YouTube. That video is titled, The public need to know that there are landlords out there abusing innocent people to death in their homes for bribe money from corrupt members of the justice system, because that's what's happening to me. I just made that video because of the horrific abuse that I'm being put through in my home all day, every day, and I have been for the past 22 months. Two of the neighbours that are joined to my home have been involved in this plan to try and abuse me to death for the past 5 years. But there are three neighbours that are joined to my home that have the ability to tamper with my air. They also have the ability to view into my home illegally, view my devices illegally, and watch my heartbeat on a monitor as they put me through abuse. I just made that last video to protect myself from them because the abuse has been so severe. And there's actually all of these people have a mental disturbance going on. I'm not saying that to be mean, they do, because anyone who could sit there and put somebody through the torture that these people have put me through, you would have to have some kind of mental disturbance going on to be capable of that. I also think they're all capable of murder because of how many times they've tried to cause me a health episode. They've done this over and over again. They're watching my heartbeat on a monitor as they carry out very cruel torture on me in my home, physical and psychological. And it's physical because of the way they're tampering with my air and the way they're able to manipulate my heartbeat, because I have severe PTSD and I'm so traumatized by what these people have done that I've only got to, know that these people are tampering with my air for a second and my heartbeat rises. And these people, they're mentally disturbed, so they get power off that. They feel powerful to be able to manipulate my heartbeat and, have this kind of power over my life. Anyway, I made a video to protect myself from those people because one of them downstairs, he is a known predator, pervert. I realised the other night that they have used this person because when I was 14 years old, I got stalked by a predator who actually committed a lewd act in public. And what they've done as a part of this justice system cover-up and the abuse that they're putting me through is that they've gone back and they've found out all the traumas that I've ever been through in my life, and they've got people that look like the abusers that have caused me trauma. And one of them is this person. Now, he either looks like the person who did that or he is the person that did that. And he really looks like the person that did that. And he also acts like a predator. And this person, he's barely left his home in 22 months because of how much he stalks me. He stalks me 24 hours a day. He lurks over me 24 hours a day. And so do all the neighbours involved here. There's 7 of them in these buildings here that are involved. All they do is stalk me. They watch me be put through torture. Now, I created that video to protect myself from these people because they're tampering with my oxygen in my home. I'm in a very dangerous situation because these people are desperate right now because of how much they've put me through. The Campbelltown police, when they knew that I had just created that video and I was uploading it to YouTube, they come along and they parked around the corner and they turned their siren on and off. And they did that to deliberately encourage these mentally disturbed people to continue to abuse me. So you can see why these people think it's a big joke. They don't have anything to fear because there's no help for me to call on. Those police just deliberately did that because they knew that I was panicking from what this predator downstairs had been doing by breathing cigarette smoke into my house. They also know that when they stalk, that it encourages these people. So this is why they do it. They do this usually several times a day. So now I'm on my channel protecting myself from the Campbelltown police. My family members are also viewing into my home illegally, watching this happen and watching me put through this torture in my home. And it is physical abuse because of the way they tampered with my heart and the oxygen I'm trying to breathe. It's affecting my lungs. It's affecting my health. So it's physical abuse. And it's very traumatic having your air tampered with, especially by a predator who is actually getting enjoyment out of what he's doing. It's sick. These police here are the cruelest, most vulgar, abusive, immature police that I've ever had to deal with in my life. Sometimes I can't believe they're police. It's just the way they act and what they do. They're nothing like police. Nothing like police. They're criminals. They are worse than the criminals here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. And they also think it's a big joke. So it's no wonder that domestic violence is the way it is in this country, with police with these kind of attitudes. They have no respect for women whatsoever. I have seen women cops involve themselves in the abuse as well with the men that are at that police station. They've stalked me just about every single day for the past 22 months. They have put me through extreme humiliation. They degrade me, and they think it's funny. And I've also seen these police make a mockery out of some pretty disgusting crimes that have taken place in the past. I've seen them make a mockery of crimes where women have been abused by their partners in domestic violence situations. I've seen them make a mockery out of other crimes where the victims have taken their life because the abuse that they've gone through is similar to what I'm going through. Just so severe that they gave up on their lives. And this is what they're trying to make me do. They're trying to make me lose hope. And that's why the police come along and they stalk when they know that I'm being abused by these people, because they want me to give up hope. And they're also standing on standby, waiting for me to have a mental health breakdown or a health episode so they can say that it was natural causes, or so that they can say that I had a mental health breakdown. And, it's a wonder I haven't, with the provoking that I'm put through every day from the Campbelltown police and these neighbours. I need urgent help here, and I need urgent help to raise public awareness of this, because yesterday you should have heard this town, and it was the police that instigated it. There was noise and pollution attacks going on. The Campbelltown police are responsible for the environmental crimes that have taken place here in Campbelltown, New South Wales for the past 22 months. They're also responsible for abusing my human rights, my right to live a life free from abuse, my right to being treated equally to a man or anybody else in this community for that matter, my right to to live a life, like in peace without being abused, and my right to justice. And I reported a pedophile at that police station in 2020, and they also did nothing about that person. So this is another reason why they're doing this to me, because they don't want the truth about that getting out. There's also a cop that has committed violent crimes against women, and it's a heinous crime. He gets his mates involved in the crime, and he actually uses drugs on women and commits disgusting crimes. And that's why this landlord is using the kind of abuse he's using here also. That's why he's using this abusive person, this abusive male that lives diagonally to me, to carry out abuse, because it doesn't get much more disgusting than this person. He's a predator, and he's someone who clearly he gets enjoyment out of abusing a woman. He's rarely left his home in 22 months, so it's all he does is abuse me and stalk me. This person lurks over me when I sleep at night because these people can see in my bedroom. The police knew that he was abusing me just then. They're viewing into my house illegally, and they're encouraging him. And the landlord makes me say he won't stop, because he won't stop. When he starts abusing, he won't stop, no matter what I do. He's trying to provoke me to have a mental health breakdown constantly. And he's also trying to provoke my heartbeat to speed up. And he does do that because I'm so traumatised. So they're trying to cause me a heart attack. And they're using this person, and they want me to say things like he won't stop, because that's psychological abuse. They also get these neighbours to take turns, and that's part of the psychological abuse too. And then the neighbours, and then the police come along and they encourage them. This is the Campbelltown police. So this is why there is this problem with domestic violence in this country, because it's not just happening here. This was happening on the South Coast also. I was treated with no respect from those police. I was treated like a joke when I called them for help in regard to the domestic abuse I was going through at the time. And that was because there were cops connected to the family that have been obstructing justice. This is why I'm going through what I'm going through now. My family are viewing into my home illegally. They're watching me be put through this abuse, and they're relying on these mentally disturbed neighbours to keep abusing me and to either cause me that mental health episode or physical health episode so that they can keep the inheritance that they've stolen from me. They've lied to steal that inheritance. They've stolen it under false pretenses. They've fabricated a story to do that. They've had corrupt members of the justice system helping them to do that, and that's because of the crimes that the police have committed. So they've worked together. They have their own motives. My family members, they didn't want me to have that inheritance for a couple of reasons. One of them was that there's a lot of jealous women in my family who didn't want to see me do well in life, and it's always been like that. These are members of the family that they've always wanted to see me, to look at me lower than them, and they've actually done things throughout my whole life, especially the people that brought me up. They've done things my whole life to make sure that I was always held back in life by destroying my reputation and scapegoating me as that person in the family that's just down and out and doesn't do as well as us. That's how they've always seen me. That's how they've deliberately kept me, because they always had plans on stealing that inheritance from the day they took me into their care when I was a child. So these family members view into my home. You've only got to go back on my channel and see what I've been through here to see what these cruel family members have watched me go through. And they watch me be tortured by these neighbours, and they are relying on them for their stability because they stole that from me and they don't want to give it back. So every day they wake up, they are just hoping I die. And I did nothing to those people to deserve this. I was good to all of my family members, and I went above and beyond to go out of my way to help them. So this has been done because those female family members didn't want to see me do better than them, and because the abusive men in my family don't like for a woman to be independent or to be able to have more authority than them. So from the day that I went into their care, the people that brought me up, the father figure, he throughout my whole life, he's made sure that I was never going to get that legacy that belongs to me. And he's very abusive, and he's had all the other family members helping him because he's bribed them and he's brainwashed my children, and he's worked with a lot of other abusive men to do this to me. So I want that inheritance back because I need to get to safety. Every day that goes by here is a day that I lose off my life. These family members have stolen years from my life. They've lied to do it, and they're relying on 3 mentally disturbed people to keep me abused for their stability. That inheritance belongs to me and my grandchildren. If it stays in the hands of those people, there'll be nothing left for my grandchildren. This family spent thousands and thousands of dollars on setups to try and cause me illness, to try and to set me up for crimes, to try and put me in a weakened emotional state, which they did do. They've involved themselves in setups to try and have me committed, which was a total setup. It was a total setup, and once they got me to the hospital, there was corrupt doctors and nurses involved in the setup, and all that family wanted me to do was sign over my finances, and there was absolutely no reason, and there was no way that I was going to sign over my finances to those family members, and they actually blackmailed me. They blackmailed me while I was at the hospital, and they said, well, if you're not going to sign it over, well, we're not, the people that were there at the time, they didn't want to bring in even the necessities that I needed, the self-care products that I needed to get by in hospital. And they left me there. They left me there and totally deserted me, and I did not deserve any of it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the cruelty that family put me through. I'm still going through it now, 22 months later. So this is why there's so many people involved in this, because they're all working together, and it is the cruelest, most ruthless people that are still involved. And this is why I'm being put through such intense abuse right now in my home, because these people are desperate to take my life. So the Campbelltown police station, they must be all corrupt there, because it's not just at certain times of the day that these cops put me through abuse. It can be any time of the day. It can be in the middle of the night. It can be in the early hours of the morning, afternoon, morning. They stalk me usually several times a day, sometimes in the helicopter, sometimes in the highway patrol car. Sometimes these police, they terrorise me in the helicopter. They'll fly really low over my home, and it's all an intimidation tactic, and it's to encourage these people, because these people, they need to stop. And just every time I get them to stop, the Campbelltown police will come along and stalk and start them off again. Or there's also abusive men and women viewing into my home, and if they see that there's nothing going on, they'll start stalking my home in loud vehicles. And that also gets these neighbours going again. They think, oh, well, we've got help, so we'll keep going. So it's this small group of people who come from different groups that are abusing their power, and they're working together. They're all watching my heartbeat on a monitor. Even my family members are watching my heartbeat on a monitor. They're watching into my home. They watch me. There's been times when I have been screaming in distress from the abuse I'm going through from these neighbours, and they sit there and watch me be abused. I don't know how any family member could do that. I couldn't watch my worst enemy go through something like this. I really couldn't. So I need urgent help because the Campbelltown police just come and encourage these neighbours. And, you know, that's the worst thing that could happen right now because these people are desperate and they're dangerous people. And the Campbelltown police are also relying on these neighbours. That's how it is for all the community that are involved in this. They've got 3 mentally disturbed people tampering with my air. It's the same for the landlord, St George Community Housing. And just before I finish off this video, I wanted to mention all of the depraved things that I've seen the Campbelltown police do. So I've seen them carry out abuse in regard to those violent crimes that have been committed against women that have lost their lives. And I've seen them make a mockery out of them. What's happened is because they're viewing into my home illegally and they watch all of my devices, they know what I watch on TV, they know what I do on my phone, they know everything I do. So if they see me watching something on the TV that involves, say, a story of abuse where, you know, a woman's passed away from domestic violence, for instance, they will come and stalk. They've done that. They've done that to deliberately make a mockery out of that. They've also done it before when there's been some really, like that's heartbreaking in itself, but I've seen them do it when there's like even a more, like the most heartbreaking thing ever. They have done it then too. And that involves someone taking their life because they had been abused so much. Similar to what I'm going through now and what they're trying to do to me. I've also seen those police disrespect Anzacs. And this is what I mean by sometimes I just can't believe that these are police doing this. You know, these are men that wear a uniform that are in the services themselves. Like, they don't deserve to be in those uniforms. They stalked me at Mawson Park while I was at the Anzac service, while the last post was on, and they deliberately put their siren on to stalk me and let me know they were there while the last post was playing and everyone was remembering the Anzacs for that minute. So, you know, that's the kind of depraved behaviour that the Campbelltown police are capable of, and the humiliation that they have put me through and how they degrade me every day. And this is why I'm being disrespected from the community, because of what the police are doing. You know, I don't deserve any of this. I've done nothing to deserve this. I'm an innocent person. It's happening because of the corrupt cops, the pedophile that I reported in 2020. Also, the way that I've been treated over the past 10 years since I've lived with family and domestic violence, and I'm still living with domestic violence now, and the police are the culprits. They don't want the public knowing about that. Then there is the fact that there's a cop that's committed the violent crimes against women who's still getting away with it. And then there's the environmental crimes that they instigate here in Campbelltown when they go out and drive around the streets like a carload of hoons who make the town sound like there's a riot going on, trying to get the community to carry out noise and pollution attacks with any kind of transport that they can find. So this is what the police are doing here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. So I don't know what the sergeant at that police station's doing. It can't just be one sergeant because it's happening at all different times of the day, any day of the week. So the whole station must be toxic. And as I said, it was happening to me on the South Coast too. So it wasn't as bad there, but I was still disrespected there and not taken seriously when I was going through domestic violence. But here, the behaviour of these police, it's just disgusting. It's a disgrace. They're not only a disgrace to the police, they're a disgrace to the whole country. And I don't know what the police commission is doing because, I, I just can't believe that this is going on. I can't believe that there's police that are doing this, that are worse than the criminals. That's how bad it's got. And that's why domestic violence is the way it is. And it's mostly abusive men putting me through abuse, and they're making sure that it is because they know that I've been put through abuse my whole life from abusive men. So that's why they're using him downstairs a lot to put me through abuse. So I need urgent help here because there's no integrity at that police station. There's none. There's no integrity. There's no respect for women. My human rights have been taken off me. I have no dignity. I'm humiliated every day in my home. I've got random people viewing into my home. I don't know who. I don't know what creeps are viewing into my home. My right to live a life free, a peaceful life free of abuse has been taken away. My right to be treated equally to the men in my family has been taken away. And I want it back, and I want my inheritance back. So this is why they're all working together. That's why, because they've all got different motives. It's all a setup. And these neighbours are being paid to put me through abuse from the landlord, St George Community Housing, who's taken bribes to do this to me. So the people that are left in this abuse are the cruelest, most depraved people that they have no empathy, and they're capable of just watching someone suffer. Even my family members, they're watching me suffer. They're watching me be abused every day like this, and that they do nothing to help. And that says a lot for them too, considering I'm. And when this is investigated, when detectives investigate this, there will be proof that I was good to their family members and that I didn't deserve any of this. And it's the same with these neighbours. They've been set up for the past 5 years, some of these people. The woman downstairs and him and me, we were placed here deliberately so that these two people downstairs could abuse me to death. And what they've done, they've destroyed my reputation around here so no one would be around me, so that no one would help me. My family members have done the same thing, and so have the Campbelltown police and other members of the justice system, because they don't want to be caught. So they're all working together, and it's a huge network of people, and I can't get help from anybody. I've reached out to people in the public eye for help, and they haven't helped me because it's the New South Wales justice system here, and they're going to everybody. They see everything I do. I have no privacy at all. Everything I do, everything I buy, everywhere I go, every appointment. I can't go to a different room in my house without the police stalking me according to my movements in my home. Sometimes I'll go into a room and there'll be people underneath my window that place themselves there to carry out abuse. This is how aggressively I'm being stalked. Right now, this creep downstairs is breathing smoke in my house. That's how much of a big joke he thinks it is. I'm putting this out on a public platform to try and save my life. This creep, he's doing this for attention because that's his mentality. He does it for attention from people. And he's breathing smoke into my home now. So St George Community Housing, you better tell him to stop. You better tell him to stop. And you better resign yourself to the fact that you're not going to take my life. This landlord's trying to play God and take my life, and he's not getting it. And so are the police. They're all working together. The police are just there on standby, and so are the corrupt ambulance drivers who stalked me yesterday while I was on my way to a shopping centre. So thank you if you've listened to this video, and please, if you can help me raise public awareness of this, please help me, because I have no help here. There's no one to help me. There's no one to help. And they want me to lose hope in my life, and I'm not. And the public deserve to know that this is happening because of the way domestic violence is. That's why it's the way it is, because the attitude of police. They're worse than the criminals, and I don't know what the police commissioner's doing about this, but she needs to do something about it.